What if I told you that the strongest way to respond to disrespect is by doing nothing? Not because you're weak, but because you're so grounded, so centered that no insult can reach your core. Most people think power is loud, that it needs to shout, argue, explain itself. But real power doesn't chase. Real power doesn't beg. Real power observes. In a world addicted to instant reactions, where everyone wants to clap back, prove a point, get even, the Stoic man is different. He doesn't play the game. He doesn't flinch, over-explain, or get dragged into the mud. He holds his ground. He holds his peace. And in that silence, he commands more respect than 1,000 words ever could. You see, disrespect is everywhere today. People interrupt, they make sly comments, they act like your time and value are optional, and society tells you to be the bigger person, which often just means stay quiet and take it. But not here. Not today. Because here on Stoic Spirit, we don't teach passivity, we teach presence. We don't teach weakness masked as politeness, we teach self-respect enforced by inner strength. So if you're tired of being walked on, overlooked, or disrespected, this video is for you. And not just some surface-level advice. Today, we're going deeper. Not just 5 quick tricks, but 5 unshakable psychological and philosophical shifts that will transform the way you handle disrespect for life. Welcome to Stoic Spirit, where we blend ancient Stoic wisdom with modern masculine power. If you're ready to reclaim your strength, protect your peace, and master self-control, hit that subscribe button and join the brotherhood, because this is more than a channel. It's a mindset, a movement, a way of life. Let's begin. 1. The silent stare, confront without a word. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. Picture this. You're in a conversation. Someone drops a disrespectful comment. Maybe it's subtle, like a passive-aggressive dig, or maybe it's loud and obvious. Most people in that moment would do what the world expects, defend themselves, explain, or snap back. But not you. You don't raise your voice, you don't argue, you just stare. Not with anger, not with fear, just stillness, complete, unwavering presence. This is the silent stare. A look that says, you won't get to me. You don't have that kind of power here. Why does this hit so hard? Because people who thrive on disrespect are usually hungry for one thing, a reaction. They want you to stumble, flinch, get flustered, so they can feel in control. When you respond with pure, controlled silence, you're not ignoring them, you're exposing them. You hold up a mirror to their own insecurity, and they don't know what to do with it. Most people don't know how to sit with the discomfort of being watched, especially when they're expecting a fight and instead receive nothing. Just calm, focused energy. That's why the silent stare is not weakness. It's passive power, the kind that flips the dynamic in an instant. This is not about playing games. It's about practicing mastery. Mastery over your impulse to please, defend, or explain yourself. The moment you choose stillness over struggle, you prove something. You don't need their respect to have your own. Real-life example. I was once in a team meeting where a guy kept interrupting me. Every time I spoke, he'd cut me off, trying to dominate the conversation. I didn't argue. I didn't rush to reclaim my turn. I just leaned back, folded my arms, and stared. No blinking, no movement. 5 seconds of total stillness, and suddenly, silence. The room felt it. He felt it. The dynamic shifted, and he never pulled that move again. That moment taught me this. When you hold your gaze, you hold your ground. You show the world that your presence doesn't need noise to be felt. You don't have to fight for space. You are the space. And here's the Stoic lesson. He who controls himself controls the room. The stare isn't aggression. It's self-respect, distilled into a single quiet act. Let your eyes speak the truth your mouth doesn't need to. 2. The power of deliberate silence. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. Sometimes the most powerful sentence is no sentence at all. In a world obsessed with instant reactions, explanations, and comebacks, choosing silence is revolutionary. You don't need to argue with someone who's not listening. You don't need to explain yourself to someone who's already made up their mind. And you sure as hell don't need to validate someone who's trying to tear you down. When someone disrespects you, mocks you, belittles you, throws shade, the natural urge is to respond, to defend. But the Stoic man knows, not all battles deserve a warrior. Some insults are so beneath you they don't even warrant acknowledgement. Here's the truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is filtration. It filters out the noise, the drama, the bait. When you go quiet, you're not retreating. You're rising above their chaos into your calm. That silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It's you choosing to protect your peace instead of feeding their fire. Why does this work? Because people who are disrespectful are expecting engagement. They're playing a game of emotional ping pong. They serve the insult, expecting you to hit it back. But when you don't, the game dies. You remove the one thing they were counting on, your energy. Real life story. A guy at work once took a dig at me in front of others. Something petty about my appearance and how I looked too serious to be creative. Everyone laughed, waiting for me to crack a joke back or get flustered. I just looked at him. No smile, no comeback, just one raised eyebrow and complete silence. I watched the laughter die in real time. He shuffled in his chair and never said anything like that again. And that's the magic of deliberate silence. It creates a vacuum, and that vacuum reflects their own behavior back at them. When you don't respond, they're left alone with their own rudeness. And that discomfort, that's the real consequence. Even more powerful, silence gives you space to breathe, to think, to choose how you want to live, instead of reacting to how others behave. You stop giving strangers the keys to your emotions. You stop bleeding energy into every insult. The next time someone throws a jab at you, stop. Breathe. Say nothing. Let your silence hang in the air like a mirror. Let them see themselves in it. And if they can't handle it, that's not your problem. It's your protection. Remember, your words are valuable. Your peace is sacred. Don't spend either on people who never earned them. If you found value in what you've heard so far, and if this message resonates with the part of you that's tired of being reactive and ready to reclaim inner strength, do us a solid, hit the subscribe button. Supporting this channel allows us to keep making powerful, no-fluff content rooted in Stoic wisdom and modern masculine clarity. We're building something real here, a place for grounded men, silent leaders, and those who walk their own path. Thanks for your support. Now let's keep going. 3. Stop explaining yourself. It's not a debate. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. Here's a truth most men learn too late. Every time you feel the need to explain why you're doing something, you're subconsciously asking for permission. You're placing your worth on someone else's scale and letting them weigh in on your life. They ask, "Why are you doing that? Why didn't you show up? Why are you being so distant?" And without realizing it, you explain. You offer context, justification, maybe even apology, not because you owe it, but because you're trying to avoid judgment. But here's the problem. People who truly respect you don't need an explanation. And those who demand one often aren't looking for understanding. They're looking for leverage. They want to poke holes, shake your confidence, or validate their own insecurities by questioning your path. Stop handing out access to your inner world like it's free. Your decisions, your direction, your discipline, these are not group projects. They are sacred territory. When you simply say, "because I wanted to," and move on, you send a signal that says, "I know myself, I trust my path, I don't need you to get it." And the ones who truly value you, they won't push. The ones who don't, let them be confused. Let them wonder. Stoic men don't explain, they walk. They live in quiet alignment. Their life is their answer. Practical example, when I changed careers, people thought I'd lost it. Why would you leave something stable? What if it doesn't work? I used to explain, to calm their fears, or maybe my own. But over time I realized something. The more I explained, the more I doubted myself. The more I felt I had to convince them, the more I started questioning me. One day I stopped. When someone asked, I just said, it was time. No defense, no essay, just presence. And it changed everything. Psychological insight. Explaining too much is a defense mechanism. It often comes from trauma, from growing up needing to justify yourself to avoid criticism. But you're not that boy anymore. You're a man now. And men don't ask for approval. They live by principles. So here's the challenge. Next time someone questions your move, pause, take a breath, smile, and respond with confidence. Not arrogance, but certainty. Because the truth is, The more you feel the need to explain, the less free you really are. Walk like a man who answers to something higher, his own code. 4. Distance is a weapon. Use it with precision. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Seneca. Let's get brutally honest. Not everyone deserves access to you. And the biggest mistake strong men make is keeping disrespectful people too close, out of guilt, habit, or misplaced loyalty. But here's what the Stoics understood. Proximity is power. Who you allow into your space affects your energy, your clarity, and your ability to grow. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, disrespects your time, or diminishes your value, they don't need more of your time. They need less. Sometimes the most powerful response to disrespect is not confrontation, it's absence. Not words, not revenge, just distance. Because here's what happens when you disappear. Their words no longer land. Their jabs hit air. Their ego loses fuel. Let them talk to the silence where you used to stand. You don't owe constant access to anyone. Not to toxic friends, not to draining coworkers, not even to family who repeatedly cross lines you've already drawn. You're not rude for stepping away, you're respecting yourself. Real-life moment. I once had a longtime friend who, every time we spoke, would mock my goals, question my ambition, make slick comments. I tried reasoning, tried being patient, but it never changed. So I made a choice. I stepped back. Quietly. No drama, no goodbye speech. I just stopped showing up, and in that space, I healed. I grew. And I realized some people only feel big when they keep you small. Psychological truth. People don't change when you talk. They change when you leave. When you're no longer in reach, when the pattern breaks, they feel the absence. That absence becomes the consequence. That space becomes the mirror. Distance isn't cruelty, it's clarity, and sometimes it's the only thing that wakes people up. But even more importantly, it wakes you up. You realize how much lighter you feel, how much calmer your mind becomes, how many of your thoughts were tied up in managing other people's chaos. And once you taste that freedom, you never go back. So here's the challenge. Audit your circle. Who uplifts you? Who respects your time and presence? And who drains you, mocks you, or crosses lines without care? You already know the answer. The only question is, do you have the strength to create space? Because here's the Stoic truth. You become who you surround yourself with. And if you want to rise, you can't stay in rooms that bring you down. Distance isn't the end of a relationship. It's the beginning of self-respect. 5. Walk like a king, even in enemy territory. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Here's something nobody teaches you in school, but every Stoic man must learn. Confidence isn't just in your words, it's in your walk, in your presence, in your posture. It's the silent signal you send before you even open your mouth. When you enter a room, people pick up on something. Before you speak, they scan your energy. Are you grounded or anxious? Are you carrying dignity or doubt? Hold your head high, speak slowly, breathe deeply, move with intention. Not to impress anyone, not to perform, but to embody something unshakable, self-respect. When someone disrespects you, your posture becomes your boundary. You don't need to shout. You don't need to explain. You just stand like a man who knows who he is. That alone shifts everything, because disrespect thrives on weakness, on insecurity. But when you stand tall, shoulders relaxed, head upright, eyes clear, you tell the world, I'm not here to be shaken. I'm not here to be molded by your opinion of me. And here's the deeper twist. When you stop reacting to disrespect, it stops showing up. Why? Because it no longer works. They can't get a rise out of you. They can't touch you. So they move on, looking for easier targets. That's the quiet power of composure. I once worked with a man who tried to challenge me every time we crossed paths. Subtle jabs, undercutting comments, passive dominance. I used to let it get to me, wondered what I'd done wrong. But then I changed one thing, my posture. I walked in tall, spoke less, met his eyes with calm, and never gave him the emotional spike he was looking for. Over time, he backed off, not because I won a war of words, but because I stopped playing the game. That's what kings do. They don't bark to be respected. They carry themselves in a way that demands it. Psychological insight. Your body and your mind are connected. When your body signals fear, slouching, shrinking, fidgeting, your brain follows. But when you stand tall and breathe deeply, your mind begins to believe, I've got this. This isn't about pretending. It's about embodying the energy you want to live in. Walking like a king doesn't mean arrogance. It means certainty. It means not shrinking just because someone else is uncomfortable with your presence. It means taking up the space that belongs to you, without apology. And let's be honest, this is rare today. Most people fold the moment they're challenged. They make themselves smaller, try to please, try to fit in. But the Stoic man, he remains unmoved. He shows up fully, even in enemy territory. Because here's the secret, you don't need the room to like you. You just need to like who you are when you walk through it. Let your presence be your protest. Let your stillness be your strength. Let your walk, calm, slow, certain, be the message that says, I don't need to control the room. I control myself. And that's what makes you untouchable. How to apply this in real life, the Stoic Response Blueprint. It's one thing to nod along while watching this video. It's another to live it, especially when disrespect shows up in the heat of the moment. So let's get practical. Here's how you can build a real-life Stoic response system, a personal blueprint, to make these 5 strategies second nature. Step 1. The inner alarm. Recognize the trigger. Before you can respond like a king, you need to catch yourself at the edge of reactivity. This moment happens fast. Your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, your pride gets poked. Practice catching that signal. Name it. I'm being tested. That awareness alone stops the unconscious reaction. Step 2. The power pause. Create distance. Take one breath, literally, one slow, deep breath. That single pause is your weapon. It's your doorway to choice. Instead of jumping into defense mode, you now have a pocket of power. Inside that breath, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Does this person even matter? Will reacting make me stronger or smaller? Step 3. Choose one of the 5 responses. Depending on the moment, deploy one of the 5 Stoic moves. Silent stare when a direct challenge comes your way. Deliberate silence when someone's trying to bait you. No explanation when questioned about your life. Distance when disrespect is a pattern. Posture and presence when you need to stand tall without saying a word. The key is, don't overreact, over-decide. Step 4. Reflect after the storm. After the encounter, don't just move on. Reflect. Ask yourself, did I stay grounded? What part of me still wanted to explain, argue, or please? This is how you strengthen your core, not by being perfect, but by becoming more conscious every time. Step 5. Rewire with repetition. Stoicism is not a single choice, it's a practice. The more you choose stillness over chaos, the more powerful you become. Eventually, you don't just use the principles, you become them. Calm becomes your default. Confidence becomes your silence. And disrespect? It no longer has anywhere to land. A final note. This isn't about looking strong, it's about being strong in the way that no one can fake. In a world loud with performance, your silence becomes the loudest statement in the room. Let's get one thing straight. Disrespect is not your fault, but how you respond to it is your responsibility. You don't get to choose what people throw at you, but you always choose whether to catch it or let it fall to the ground. You can bark, argue, chase, and try to prove yourself, or you can choose the higher path, the Stoic path. The path of silent strength, calm presence, and unshakable dignity, because that's what men like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca stood for. They didn't demand respect, they embodied it. They didn't fight to be seen. They lived in such a way that they couldn't be ignored. So here's the challenge, not just for today, but for your life. Embrace the stare, embrace the silence. Stop over-explaining, step back when needed, and walk like a king, even when no one claps. Every time you choose self-control over reaction, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you stand firm in who you are, without flinching, without performing, you remind the world that you answer to no one but your own code. People will test you, disrespect you, try to bait you into the chaos, but you stay calm. You stay centered, because real power doesn't prove, it just is. If this message hit something real in you, leave a comment below with the words, "I will not lower myself to be understood by those who don't respect me." Say it, Own it, live it. And if you're ready to walk this path daily, to live with strength, clarity, and calm in a chaotic world, this is Stoic Spirit, and this is just the beginning. Thank you for watching. If you felt empowered by this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share it with a brother who needs it, and subscribe to join a growing movement of men reclaiming their inner strength. Until next time, stay grounded, stay unbothered, and keep walking like the man you were born to be.